Welcome to the Career Shift Podcast. I'm Avis Green, your retail career coach, and my goal is to help you grow your career so you can make the impact you were destined to and the kind of money that allows you to live out your dreams. Whether you're aiming for a promotion, prepping for an interview, or feeling stuck in your current job, this is where career goals become career wins. Let's dive in. This week, our topic is going to be the power of having an honest career conversation. So I know that it's not always the easiest when we think about sitting down with our leaders and having a conversation around how we're doing or what we could be doing better. Actually, I find that a lot of people don't have these conversations at all. And the question is, if you're not asking your leader how you can improve or what you're doing well, how do you know that you are going in the right direction at all? My career has taken a lot of twists and turns. It's not been a straight upward climb. When life happens, sometimes you have to make adjustments. And for a couple of years, I needed to step away from being a salary manager because I needed a more consistent schedule and we had to relocate. And so when I was ready to get back into becoming a salary manager, I thought that it would be a smoother transition than it actually was. When I was assigned to my first store, everything did not go the way that I thought that it would. I was showing up, I was working hard, I was doing all that I knew to do to be successful and to have a successful store. But for some reason, it was not connecting. At that time, I didn't know that I needed to sit down with my leader and have a conversation around what I was doing, how I was performing, because I just didn't know how to address that conversation. Well, fast forward, I was assigned to a second store, and this time I sat down and had the courageous conversation to make sure that I was aligned with my leader and I was doing all the things that he needed me to do to be successful. And he gave me feedback as to what I needed to do in order to be successful and eventually move up and become a store manager. Now, when you get ready to have this conversation, it's so important that you are prepared for the feedback that you get. It might not be what you want to hear. It might not be what you think is actually going on, but perception is reality to the person who is perceiving it. So what they think is their actual reality, even if it's not aligned with yours, you have to be open to understanding how can I make adjustments? How can I move forward so that we are both on the same page? When I got the feedback from my leader that I needed to improve my execution, I was definitely taken aback because that's something that I've always been really proud of, my ability to execute, my ability to get people to do what I need them to do, all while having a really good time at work. I wanted to argue the point. I wanted to make it known that that was not the case. But instead, I sat there, I took the feedback, and then I decided I'm going to make a change. I'm going to make sure that how I move forward, they see the value that I bring to this team. And I made adjustments. After that day, I made sure that I conducted myself in a way that would align with that specific leader so that he would know that I was taking the feedback that he gave me and making adjustments and making improvements. Let's dive into why you need to have this conversation. It's really important that we do not assume that leadership will notice your hard work. If you think that you will just be noticed and they will automatically give you promotions because you're such a hard worker, then you are sadly mistaken. Sometimes people just flat out don't notice all that you are doing. And sometimes people will see that you are a really hard worker and it makes their job easier. So you will get skipped over to continue doing the work that others might not be doing. If you sit down and have this conversation with your leader, then it puts them on notice that you want to be promoted, that you are not going to be okay with staying in the current staying in your current position, and it's going to allow you to get feedback to help you focus on what really matters. The hard work that you're putting in, is it aligned with what you need to move forward to your next position? And leadership has different perspective. So what you think is really valuable at your current role might not be aligned with what your leader thinks is really valuable. Having that additional perspective is always going to be beneficial. 11 years ago, when I was having this difficult conversation with my leader, I wish that I would have had a guide to tell me what to ask. I wish I would have known some additional questions so that I could get even better feedback. Instead, I kind of went into it just knowing, hey, I got to do something different at this store. I really need to make sure that we're aligned. And so we kind of just stumbled through the conversation. Luckily, you do not have to do that. I've created the 10 questions to fast track your promotion because I want to be able to help others get through all of these sometimes difficult, awkward conversations a lot smoother than I did. These are the exact questions that will help you get clear feedback on what's working and what's not, understand how your leadership sees your potential, and position yourself as the obvious choice when the next promotion comes available. A couple of example questions that are in the guide are: what are the top 3 things you look for when promoting someone into leadership? Or what's one skill that would help me grow into a leadership position faster? Because these questions are formatted in a conversational way and not just yes or no questions, it's going to help to guide a true conversation. You will not have to sit down and have a formal meeting to ask these questions. You can figure out a way to incorporate them into your work schedule, or you can ask your leader, hey, I want to sit down and have some time with you. It's up to you how you want to utilize the questions. The biggest thing is that you utilize them. The honest truth is that you are going to be going up against other people when a promotion comes available. Everything that you do before it even opens up is going to be really important in you securing that position. You will set yourself apart from your peers by asking these questions and having these intentional conversations. We want to make sure that we are not doing the same things as everyone else. We're working smarter, not necessarily harder. Okay, let's recap. We want to make sure that we are not assuming leadership will notice your hard work. We are going to ask for feedback. One conversation can give you clarity and direction. Do not be afraid to have the conversation. Or in this case, have multiple conversations where you are going over multiple questions. Knowing what to ask is just a part of the process. The other part is actually asking the questions. And the final step, the most important step, is to change based off of the feedback that you are given. So this podcast is about taking action so that you can land the promotion and live the life that you really want to live. This week's actionable steps are to download the 10 questions, set up some time with your leader, and ask at least 2 of these questions in the next week. I can't wait to hear how it goes. Definitely send me messages if you have success with this or if you have any questions. I will talk to you all in our next episode.